have to excuse the fact actually that I've got my door open, and my washing machine on, so if you can hear any funny rumbles, that's what it is. Equally, if you can hear some noises in the background that sound more like squeakings, that would be 6 zebrafinch chicks that I'm trying to get rid of from the summer's clutch. The advert has gone out into cage and aviary because there is no room in the pet shop. But anyway, as I'm onto that tack, I may as well do this week's sort of things first, I suppose. I want to apologise for the fact that I didn't do a UFC prediction for the numbered event last night. That's partly because I got my wires crossed and thought it was a fight night instead. So apologies for that. I would have chosen Fabricio Verdum for the interim title anyway, had I been a little bit more on the ball, so there we are. And you can see who I've decided is going to be my fighter of the card in the closing credits. Also, this week has been my first week back. Hasn't been a good week at all. A lot of things are going on in my life at the moment, both professionally and personally, which are issue causes basically, and so behind the scenes I'm working a lot on settling things. I can't talk to you about what I'm really doing at the moment because it's a sensitive issue that's too current, so be assured that I am actually facing some pretty tough times at this moment, but I can't talk to you about them yet. I will when they're all over and done with. Right, now to this week's Getting to Know Me, and it's a theme. A theme is a long-running thing which is trans-seasonal in that it can be an issue that goes on for many years. Often these are issues that I have to live with. They aren't issues that can be solved one way or the other. And that brings me back to what I said right at the start, that a lot of words generally in this day and age are overused. I am stressed being one, I'm depressed being another. You know, there are clinical definitions of these that don't match up to the vast majority of people who claim them. The other thing is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Do you know, I was not a very nice person when I was younger, in the age frame that we're talking about at the moment, and that is because I was incredibly obsessed with things. Do you know, if you take the Myers-Briggs personality type indicator test, it will give you a group of 4 letters, and they indicate how close you are on 4 spectrums to 8 different poles. And they say something about your personality. The last one is known as J or P. It's judging is one pole, perceiving is the other pole, and you get stuck with the moniker J or P depending on how close to which pole you are on that spectrum. I was an extreme J, and when I mean extreme, I mean very extreme, okay? I had schedules for everything, and they weren't just schedules that were for me, they were schedules that I would impose on everybody in the house when I was little. It was fantastic. For example, you would never think that getting up and going to school would be so difficult, would you? No, but I had time to the minute who could go to the bathroom, in what order, and when they had to be out by. And yes, basically I forced my 2 sisters for years, for absolutely years, to go through this sort of thing. I don't know, because I've never spoken to them about how they actually feel about their own childhoods, but I can't imagine that that was incredibly pleasant. And of course I used to go off my rocker if things didn't go according to plan. And this is partly an indication of if you're if you're close to the J pole. You like standards, you like rules, you like regulations. You know where you are if you're doing something that's pretty much straightforward. There's not much shade of grey. It's sort of a black or white case, really. Things happen in a certain order, and they happen that way all the time, and you do your utmost to make sure that they always run in order, the way everything should. Should is a good description of it. The good news is that as I grew up, I generally grew out of it. I'm still quite an extreme J compared to most people, but I don't really, there's no really real obsession or compulsion left in terms of schedules, stuff like that. You will still find me routine, but I'm not like I used to be, and I certainly don't now force this onto anyone else. I must have been an absolute nightmare to live with when I was smaller. I really must have been, and do you know, one day I will talk to my sisters about it. Yeah, that's basically what I mean, and that's the flavour of this season. That's what I was really like, I suppose, when I was little. It helped with certain things, with my education. It helped because it meant that I always came home and I always did my homework. I didn't need to be told, I didn't procrastinate. I had lists of things to do, and the order in which I would do them, and the time it would take in which to do them. So there was no worry about that. It helps because it gave me a good work ethic. It stopped procrastination. You know, there were good sides to it, but those were when I basically applied them to myself, not to others. Eventually, of course, I suppose my sisters got older and they basically rebelled against it. And, you know, I suppose they broke that cycle, if you like, and then I just generally grew out of it. I don't know how much of a concern it was for my parents. I certainly wasn't taken to anybody about it or, you know, anything like that. But looking back, it's odd. It's odd. It's not usual behaviour. So, you know, when I'm talking about OCD, I mean things like that. I mean, not... I mean very, very... not autistic-like, but very, very set. Like, I would get very, very distressed if somebody messed up my plans. I still do. But at least now I'm not applying my plans to everybody else. They're just literally to me. And now that we finished that, I suppose I'd better wish everybody a happy birthday whose birthdays happen to fall this week. Before the birthdays, I have to wish Joey Dial a very, well, good luck basically, because he is competing in a fight this week, at the end of this week. As for birthdays, there only appear to be 2 this week. So apologies if Facebook hasn't told me, everybody. We've got Mario Stapel and Alistair Coles. So happy birthday to them, and I hope they eat lots of cake.